Melanin Matters, honoring Black bodies through contrology. We hold safe wellness spaces where Black bodies can freely breathe, move, and thrive. We're on a mission to globally impact the Pilates industry while shifting the narrative of what Black wellness looks like. Because wellness is a right for all, not a privilege for the few. Welcome to the Melanin Matters Show. Today, we're on the move in Bali, Indonesia, at our Restoration Wellness Retreat. On this retreat, we have a group of corporate women who decided to take their self-care to another level. So they made the commitment to invest in their wellness account and go halfway around the world to nurture their minds, bodies, and souls. They were able to step away from the hustle and bustle of their everyday lives and enjoy the tranquility, the calmness of the green and blue spaces at the retreat center. They went on individual journeys to find things that either resonated with them or that they wanted to take back with them to incorporate into their lifestyles when they plug back into where they came from. But what seemed to resonate more than anything was the food. There was a common thread throughout their individual experiences that created a community, we're going to call it a culinary community, around the way the food is prepared here, the culture of the food that's here, and how it changed the way some of them thought about food. And I'm going to let them share their experiences with you. Is this your first Melanin Matters Pilates retreat?
Yes, this is my first time attending Coach Robin's Melanin Matters retreat. It was amazing. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it was more than I thought and hoped for.
So if you could sum up your first impression, give me 3 words.
Peaceful, insightful, and don't let her fool you. That breath work with Pilates is no joke. So if you do Pilates and then go hang out with your friends, that's not what you're doing here with Coach Robin.
Is this your first time in Bali?
Yes, this is my first time traveling to Bali.
What's your first impression?
First impression, the nicest people in the entire world. So everybody has seen pictures on either YouTube or Instagram or Twitter. Bali is so much more than that. It's more than pretty beaches or people going on the swing. It's way more than that. I think you have to experience Bali for yourself to really see what Bali is about. It's about more than Instagram moments. It's about wholeness, wellness, seeing really nice people where you don't feel racism. I have never felt not one moment of racism in Bali at all. Now, if you're over 5'8", you're going to feel like a giant standing next to these people. They are little. They're little people.
That's good stuff. So as you are packing and leaving, not only will you leave with physical things, what is your lasting impression that you're going to take away from this experience with you?
Peacefulness, being insightful. Basically, the small things don't matter. Just being here, I just have felt free, light, no stress. I see why they have long lives. I don't see how you could live a short life in Bali.
Okay, so specifically to a Melanin Matters Restoration retreat, would you return?
Absolutely. And I will definitely tell friends of mine that they should attend this. I can't wait to see the next place she goes.
Is this your first Melanin Matters Restoration Wellness Retreat?
No. Actually, in May of this year, I went to Belize for our Restoration Wellness Retreat. And that was a lovely experience, very relaxing, a good time for me to unwind and do a lot of reflection. But here in Bali, this is another opportunity to just enjoy the scenery, to enjoy nature, all of the green spaces that Robin always boasts about, like that's for real. Like when you're in these green spaces, it does do something to you. It helps you kind of calm down and just relax and just reflect on God's greatness and just seeing all this. And then, of course, the sounds of nature. You got the birds chirping. You got all kind of things crawling around. Just nature, just, in the midst of it all. So a wonderful experience. Thank you.
So it sounds like you had a profound first impression. So as you're packing up to get ready to go home, what is your lasting impression of the Bali Wellness Retreat?
I think for me, the focus on health and wellness is what really sits with me. All the people here, they're very nurturing, very caring, but they also care about like what they put into their bodies. And so the foods that we eat, the food that we help prepare, and just the way the chef explained everything, and just making sure that we are putting the right foods into our bodies, foods that give us energy and strength, and that just help us to be better at what we're doing.
Is this your first Melanin Matters Wellness Retreat?
Yes, this is my first retreat.
Can you please share your first impressions?
I mean, I am pleasantly surprised from the villas that we stay in. I mean, they are so posh and they're incredibly comfortable. I'll say this. Prior to coming here, I have been suffering from insomnia. I have been here for 2 nights, and I tell you, I have slept from the time I get into bed until the time I wake up. So, yeah, and the staff, excellent staff, really genuine folks who want you to be comfortable, want you to have a good time, and they are very doting here. So, yeah, I love it.
So as you pack up to prepare to leave, you're going to take physical items with you, but what would be your lasting impression of the experience you had here that you're going to take with you?
I think, first and foremost, prior to coming here, I am a self-proclaimed heavy eater or whatever. I feel like the knowledge that I gained with regard to how you should chop up your food and the actual food you should eat. And it's like once you know something, you can't unknow it. And then at, the age group that I'm in too, like I got to start doing things a little differently. But I'm definitely going to be taking, what I learned about what healthy looks like as it relates to food, taking that with me and really, really going to, start doing things differently as far as my eating habits or whatever. So that's first and foremost. But the other thing is just calming down, like calming my mind. I feel like that's why I have slept and when I tell you I haven't slept all night in months, dare say years, and to come here and to be excited that I slept like 7 hours, that's not, there's no accident in that. So I'm paying attention to that. I kind of sort of don't want to leave, but I know I have to. But if I'm honest, like that's really important, for learning how to turn off my brain. I think too much. I focus on the wrong stuff. But here it's just been, with the activities and the staff, like I said, it's just awesome. I would like to stay if they would have me longer, but okay.
Is this your first Melanin Matters Restoration Wellness Retreat?
Yes, this is my very first retreat.
What, blah, 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 bam. Okay. Is this your first Melanin Matters Restoration Wellness Retreat?
Yes, this is my very first one.
Can you please share your first impression?
My first impression of being here, I knew that I was going to be in a very relaxed and calm environment. I knew I was going to learn a lot about health and wellness. Being here at this resort, again, I knew I was going to learn a lot about health and wellness. And once I got here and started looking at the portions and how they prepare their food, especially with today, with us being chefs, We learned how to really cut up our food into tiny, tiny pieces because you digest it better, and which is leading me to go back home to continue to do what I did here and preparing my food and staying away from a lot of things that now I know are really not good for me.
Thinking about your experience while you were here, as you packed, you will be taking your physical items with you, but was there something that you experienced here that will change your lifestyle in any way?
Some of the things that I experienced, there are several things that I experienced, but I really want to talk about one was getting to know again, I guess, I want to put that label on there. One of my classmates and friend from being 14 years old till today, and how she is an expert at healthcare and wellness. With her knowledge, along with the things that we did here, with the preparation of the food, the way they eat, the portions, going to the market to see the difference in how their fruits are raised in the actual size and the organicness of theirs and the quote-unquote organicness of ours. I'm taking that back to know how to now even pick our fruits different, our vegetables different, and joining Robin weekly to get this body back in shape at the age we are so I can go back in time. But those are some of the things that I want to take back. And then also with the cooking with the chef, on just the love that we put into preparing and the time, this food, and everything was so delicious.
All right, ladies, so it sounds like you all independently had a great time at this retreat. But there was also a theme about the food, because, you know, food is one of the most intimate things that we can do. It's also one of the most important things that we will do as long as we're living and as long as we are able to. So can you expound a little bit more on the experience, not only the experience with preparing the physical food, but did it tap you on any other level as you either went to the market to select your food or as you were in the process of preparing it?
For me, I would say, just from going to the market and actually looking at the different fruits and the foods and the things we were going to use. So that was great. But I also saw some things that I can't unsee with regard to, like, I swear by chicken. I have a different view because of, what I saw. So I'm thinking, there's some things in my freezer that probably need to come out. And Coach Robin has been trying to convert me since Lassie was a pup, but
But that's not true.
I know, but
I have not been trying to convert you. I've been educating you.
I feel like, Coach Robin, you don't deviate, right? And it doesn't matter the environment, and everybody respects you for
But that's
that.
not trying to convert you.
No, but in my mind, I'm just like, so for full clarity, like being around Robin for so many years and just looking at how people respect the fact that this is her choice. And I was looking at her like, I don't even know how you do that, but she is healthy. I thought I was healthy until now. I've got more appointments than I care to share. And a lot of that is attributed to my choices. So it's just time to make different choices as it relates to, how I'm eating, how much I'm eating, and what I'm eating. So it's just my perception.
All right, and to add to what Sharon was saying, being around Robin, I don't know, some things is going to be hard to give up, like bacon. I love bacon. I'm sorry. Bacon. So I'm going to do baby steps. Sharon used the term of forcing the choices. Converting over. It is a conversion, but it's education that you are giving us about the different foods. Coming to Bali is reiterating what you have been telling us all along. Then when we did go to the market, when I first walked in there and saw the first chicken in the flies, and it wasn't one of those little fans that we have around here, just landing on it, and they want to sell us that. And I'm like, okay, is this going on everywhere when they prepare the chicken to sell to us? Chicken wings are baby steps. Because chicken wings is going to be kind of hard, but it is part of a protein. But as I was reading, because I have somebody else going through something, there's other ways you can get that same protein from the chicken. I think I eat pretty good, but I can do better. And I learned that from being here.
Going to the market was a new experience because we just normally just go to a grocery store. I do occasionally go to a farmer's market, but I love like the niche of it. But here is really making me see like, no, this is homegrown. It was literally just pulled out of the ground. It is people's way of life. It is seeing, fish with flies around it. And they had animals walk around and people are walking around. And this is all being here, and then you take it home and you consume it. And so I had been a starch advocate. Like, I hate tofu. Like, I won't eat. Like, I tried it once. I don't like it. But here I still am not a big proponent of raw tofu, but tempeh, I love it. So now that is like a small change. So I think changes start with small things, we'll start with small things. It doesn't have to be big things. So, cutting meat out a few times a week and figuring out how to incorporate tempeh. Well, I think it's something that we can do. So it showed me, hey, you can do this. You go, ma'am.
And just to add on to what everybody has already said, I think the choices that you make, it really will determine your future. And so some of the maybe not so healthy choices that we've made in the past have led to other issues that we may currently have. So I think it's about making choices, making better choices for your health. But even the experience today of helping to prepare the food and to smell the natural scent of the foods and the spices was amazing. But even more than that, to taste the food, then there was no meat, but the food was delicious and filling, very filling. And you don't feel tired, it doesn't drain your body, none of the toxins and things like that. So yeah, I think all of us made a healthy choice today by helping to prepare the food, but then to choose to eat that food today. And actually, I enjoyed it. So it was a great experience.
So I want to expound a little bit on the smile. So Lisa's face lit up and she was talking and you all looked at her. So you got certified as some chefs today, at least over that one meal, that 5-course meal.
Yes.
So can you talk more about what is behind those smiles? Like when you opened up those certificates and you saw your name, what came to your mind when you saw that?
You know what? I'm going to say what I said when we got it. I said, I know, I got some other certificates and training and military. This certificate far supersedes all of those. I'm just going to put it out there because we were like 10 toes down with the whole process. And I don't know about y'all, but I felt really proud once I got done and the way it looked. I know Chef helped us a lot, but it's just, because sometimes, I eat with my eyes, all the time. I eat with my eyes, right? But as we were preparing that and we were, hands-on and doing the chopping and getting things to the right size and stuff, and then the smells, the aromas, I should say. And I am no, I can't even say that anymore. I was a heavy meat eater. I don't know, I was just pleasantly surprised. And then I have a problem with portion control. So the fact that I didn't even have to eat as much as I normally would, and I kept asking him like, why am I so full? But it was a good experience for me around. But yeah, that certificate, baby, that's going in the frame.
Yes.
You heard me? Yes.
She is proud.
I love getting that certificate. I was in a whole nother country when I got that certificate. I probably wouldn't have got one in the United States. I felt really good, and I got to open up everybody because I had to figure out what bag goes to who. And as I'm opening up and seeing everybody's name, I'm smiling. It's like, dang, we all got some cooking certificates, but not just cooking steaks, chicken. Watching, we were talking about other chefs in the United States that we see on TV. They're not necessarily stationed there all the time, but we see them. But we got to do some healthy, got to experience it, got to actually participate in cutting it up. And I just saw the love from all of us as we were doing it and slicing it and listening to the chef say, slice it this way, slice it that way. And then I'm thinking about, wow, we got garlic, we got ginger. We put all of these healthy things in our meals. And then the sauce that I fell in love with that I tried to eat up, y'all. I did. I tried to eat it up. That was like our teriyaki sauce, and it went into the soup. It went into the string beans, and the string beans were not cut up inches, 2 inches. They were cut up as in 5 millimeters, half a centimeter, and it was easy to digest. And like Sharon said, I was full quick, and I didn't get to the dessert, which was still bananas. It was bananas and strawberries with a little syrup or honey or whatever they poured on it, little glaze. I didn't even get to it because I was full, but I wasn't stuffed. So that's the way I want to eat from this point forward.
So for me, like, a certificate means that you have completed something, and I felt a sense of completion going to the grocery store, coming here and having a chef like walk me step by step through the process of how to prepare food that I normally wouldn't eat. Like, yeah, I eat green beans, but my green beans are cooked with some type of salted meat, and then, but here we did it very fresh. So I was very proud of myself that I made something that is out of my realm that I actually like. So that's why I was very happy to get my certificate.
So for me, being able again to be a part of the process of going to the market to get the food, helping to prepare the food, getting the direction from the chef was very helpful. But then also getting an apron and also getting the chef's hat just kind of made it feel more real and more authentic. But when I got the certificate, I was excited. The certificate had our names on it. And again, I felt like a sense of accomplishment, a sense of achievement. So it was exciting.
All right, so I do have a question. It was earlier mentioned about when we went to the market and how that one of our panelists said that they would no longer eat chicken because of what they saw. Well, basically, the chicken was laying on the counter, and there were flies flying around, and then we also saw whole fish. But those same flies were on the fruit. Why is it that you feel that, oh no, I can't eat chicken anymore because of this, and you don't feel that way about the fruit? So I wanted to pose that question to everybody.
Okay, so for me, once you see something, you can't unsee it. So, yeah, the same flies were probably flying around and landing on the fruit and landing on the chicken. The difference between the chicken and the bananas, I'll use as an example, the bananas have the peel, right? So the flies aren't landing on what I'm going to eat. They're landing on the peel of the banana. The chicken, they're landing on the chicken. To her point, there was blood, from the chicken. And then Lord knows where the fly landed before that. But everything that touches the chicken is now going into the chicken, which is going to be going into my body, which just, it just gives you a new perspective for me. So the difference between the fruit and the chicken is like that's it. Like there's no more skin. Like that's it. If it lands on it, you go and get that in your system, as opposed to the peel on the banana. So, what do you think?
And also, so with the chicken and the fish being live animals before that, so then when they die, then like you said, those toxins are released, and so then you have the flies that are on top of the dead meat that also releases those toxins, and so you have the flies that's transferring that to different foods. So I think it is something that you can't unsee, and it makes you kind of think about, again, your food choices and what we're putting into our bodies. So that was an excellent question.
I pretty much agree with what everybody said, but it's all about how you want to take in what you now know, what you now see, and how you're going to implement that going forward. I mean, pretty much all of us have grown up on meat. And so you have, oh, I really love fried chicken. Oh, I love a good burger. Are you willing? But now this new way of thinking of food, it's like, how can I still enjoy the thought of that burger, but just substituting that meat? And now eating certain foods today, it's like, oh, I think I can make that. It's just trying to figure out what is the right option to be the right substitute so that you don't crave that meat anymore, if that's what you choose.
So, case in point, prior to coming here, like I was at an event and I thought I was eating chicken nuggets. I was actually eating fried cauliflower. If you had asked me before, and I had gone for seconds by this time, right, before I knew it was actually cauliflower. But if you had asked me, and y'all know, I'm quick to say, I don't like that. I don't eat that or whatever. I can no longer say I don't eat cauliflower because I just told you I went back for seconds. Did we have cauliflower today? Did I eat cauliflower today? So it's just about how it's prepared, how it's seasoned or whatever. And it's like retraining my brain, right? Because as a kid, I eat with my eyes, so I was like, that looks nasty. I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm looking at chicken in a different way, like, because that was just that market. What about every market that gives us, or sends chicken to yeah. It's like you can't unsee certain stuff. So, but yeah, I do eat cauliflower.
So can I pose something? Just something for you to download in your brain, right? Download it in your brain and then hold on to it to use as a reference when you think about that. So you saw an actual physical example of the flies or whatever that like turned you off in a certain way. But if you think about the country where you're from, there are, this is for entertainment purposes only, there are hormones that could be injected into the very food that you think is nice, big, and juicy. And so what's worse? I'm just saying, what's worse? Is it worse that something that was concocted in the lab and the actual animal who you think you may have been eating, an animal may not have actually been an animal? Like it could have been created totally in the lab, but you don't know. Because you do have countries that their Food and Drug Administration, for entertainment purposes only, that will pass things through and say that it's okay, right? They tested it on, some lab animals. The lab animals were not deceased. And so, okay, let's send this to humans. So do you really know what you're getting when you're getting it, right? So just download it, okay?
Okay, but I have a question. I think I read a study that 50% of our fruits and vegetables are genetically modified because the way that we are currently farming in the United States cannot sustain the amount of fruits and vegetables. So the only way you can know you're getting something that's completely free of like hormones and genetically being modified is if you go to farmers market.
Shout out to the farmers market.
So if you shop at big box stores, you're pretty much 50-50. You're getting genetically modified. So you're not eating true fruits and vegetables anyway.
But you know what? Even with the farmers market, I learned that salmon is being farm raised now. Salmon fish. When I grew up, salmon came mostly from Alaska, swimming upstream. But now they're saying that they're growing it on a farm raised. So how do we know that we are actually getting organic fruit? They're not doing something, even though it's a farmer's market. Are they still using pesticides? Are they still injecting their soil in order for this fruit to grow faster. Because when we grew up, fruit took some time to grow. Vegetables took some time to grow. You're looking at now a corn to stock, instead of being 3 months, it's up and running, and you could pick it in 1 month. So what do? Do we start to grow our own vegetables? So then we know exactly what's in our soil, what we are using to help keep the flies and the insects and the things away. There was something that they used back in the 30s and 40s, but it was regular horse manure that kind of helped to strengthen the fruits to keep the insects away, and it was naturally grown. So do we go back to that, and are they doing that here, which indeed makes the fruit smaller? You don't know. What do? How do you know when you're getting real natural fruit?
So I'll share something on that. So when you go to farmers markets, first look up, your area and what foods are in season. If you go to a farmer's market and they have some fruits or vegetables that are not in season, chances are something was done to manipulate that. If they have the actual fruits that are in season, they're going to taste good, they're going to be juicy, they're going to be plump, they're going to be colorful. And if they're selling something that's not in season, it's not going to taste the way that it should. So that's one way you can taste. Another, ask a question and look for their reaction. Just plain old human interaction. Ask a question. If they stumble, chances are, if they looking all around, they might not be, telling the truth. But when you look at farmers, and that's what the beauty of farmers markets are, because you know how to nurture your body and feed your body with the seasons, because they're not going to sell you anything. They shouldn't, entertainment purposes on, they shouldn't be selling you anything that's out of season. So that's one way to tell. Also, you can look into the organization that's putting on the farmers markets and just talk to them. And they'll tell you where their farmers come from, if they have any guidelines, things that should not be used in the fruits and vegetables. You can just do a little research, that's it. And if it sounds janky to you, then you move on to the next one. So that's why I say shout out to the farmers markets. A lot of them are families, and this is how they feed their families. And a lot just will not take the chance on, because they have a certain consciousness when it comes to food. And I'll say that. That's like, with true veganism, and don't y'all hop in my comments talking left. But anyway, but true veganism or true vegans, they have a certain consciousness behind their food. It's not about the hype. It's not about the name. It's not about the label. And they're not just doing something for a fad. Just like we learned today, there's a purpose behind every item that you put in there. They love their food. They make their food with love if they're preparing it for you or if they're growing it for you. So that's one way to tell. Just simply go and ask the questions. But if they selling you some squash in July, not squash, pumpkin, like pumpkin in July, I'll be asking questions. I'm just saying, in your area, if you know that that's not in season in your area. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so that means it had to be, not that they can't, it was shipped from somewhere, but is it the best for you at that particular time? And just, I think it was to your point, like when it traveled, how long did it travel? When it came from wherever it came from. So yeah, that was a legitimate question.
Exactly.
You had something, Lisa?
No, I was saying the conditions too when it's traveling.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking about as well, because farmers market, you have fruits from all over. And they are traveling, but how long from the time they were picked to the time they came to the farmers market? How long was that process?
Oh no, farmers markets, when you do local farmers markets,
Right,
they're
right.
within a certain amount of
Exactly.
distance. They're not coming from far. They're not shipping in, they're bringing it from their farm there. And that's the beauty of it, because it came from their farm there. So they're not bargaining with anybody and saying, you give me 25 pounds of oranges and I'm coming in. They bring whatever they got on their land to the farmers market. So that's one way to do it. Yeah. So that's the beauty of it. And they love educating you. If you ever go to a farmer's market and they don't hold you there when you ask a question for 10 minutes, I don't know about them. I'm just saying, I don't know. Because they love educating you about what you have so that you can come back like this, right? You come back, you're like, what? I've been eating grapes and I shouldn't have been eating them at this time, and all of the seedless fruits, we ain't gonna get on there unless y'all want to. Where you at? Anyway.
Because you can't get grapes all year round.
Yeah, you can. You can get them all year round.
You
Like a
get them
chain
in the
store
store.
would have them more likely, but I'm just saying, but a grapevine on a farm, there are certain times in certain zones. Like there's certain zones where food is grown. So you want to make sure that you're in season when you're shopping in season.
You know what? It's not a far-fetched idea to like start your own garden. To your point, you like, how do you know? How do you know? A surefire way to know is if you growing it yourself, and a lot of people have started to have their own gardens and stuff, which I totally applaud. I wouldn't say I have a green thumb or anything like that, but a lot of stuff is changing right now. So a lot of stuff is eye-opening.
The funny thing is, I have relatives who live down south in Mississippi, and they would grow their own food. So they had gardens. And so my uncle that lives in Bellwood, Illinois, he has like his garden where he grows his greens and his tomatoes and all of this. So he grows his own vegetables, and they do taste different, you know, when it's something natural. And even being here in Bali, like the fruit, just the vegetables, it tastes so fresh, and it's a difference than being in the U.S. The food tastes different. It's like you know when it's fresh.
Okay, so you're certified at this point, but you've had your experience with preparing your own, but you've also eaten in restaurants in Bali. So can you do just a synopsis? I don't really want to use the word comparison, but just a synopsis of what you're used to and then what you experience, you know, here in terms of from the food to the staff to, you know, whatever, right? It's not to pit one against the other, but was there anything that you were enlightened by or about when you entered the establishment and when you ate the food?
Comment? We don't always start with me, but okay.
You start with me and then go that way.
So the question was, did I notice any differences
In the restaurant, like just give me your impressions of the Balinese restaurants. Like you've been in Balinese restaurants.
So I was in a Balinese restaurant yesterday, and I would say, if you want to know what I ordered a steak. I'm just keeping it honest.
Keep it real.
I ordered a steak, and I requested it to be medium well. And I think they did a fairly decent job, and, you know, shout out to the cook or whatever. But the other thing was I could see everything they were doing too. So there was that. In comparison to when I'm at home, you know, as nice as the restaurants are, if you're not at one of those Japanese restaurants where they cook everything in front of you, you don't know what's going on behind, you know, the curtain and stuff. Same thing like if you give your credit card. You don't know where they're taking your card to. But for me, it was just good to see. I think they are really transparent here. That's what I would say, as relates to, you know, letting you know what you are eating and how they are preparing it or whatever. I did eat the steak yesterday. I mean, baby steps, which is honest. I'm not giving it to her. Anybody else?
I'm with you on that with the steak. It's got to be baby steaks because I like baby steps. I love a medium steak.
What restaurant did you go to yesterday?
But I'm going to talk about the restaurant here. I don't want to talk about the one yesterday. So I ate at the restaurant on the resort, and I love the way they had the buffet set up. I'm not a fan of buffets, but it was really clean. There were several staff members to constantly make sure it stayed clean. I was able to get a fresh omelet. Both days, I had one yesterday, I'm going to have one tomorrow too. The fresh vegetables are really nice. Also, I didn't realize what was also there was this, what is that, that lemon leaf? What was it, the lime? These that we cut up and he gave us.
Yeah, lemongrass. Lemongrass or lime leaf?
Lemongrass. The lemongrass.
The long one or the dark green one?
No, the dark green.
That's lime leaf.
That's
lime leaf.
And I had that in my omelet today and didn't realize it. Found out what it was this evening when we were being chefs, and it was really good. So that experience versus being at home at a 3-star, what did you say it? You know, what do you say?
Michelin?
No.
Oh, for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, for entertainment purposes only. Being at a 3-star buffet, it was just different. They were really attentive. My plate didn't stay on the table 5 seconds after finishing it and going and get some more. They didn't harass you. They kind of stayed back, but they took care of it. And so that was a good experience.
Yeah, because like to your point, when you typically when you go to a buffet back home in the States, they bring out the food, they restock whatever is low, and then they go back behind the door, and so nobody is out, you know, making sure that everything is squared away with regards to the food or whatever. But here, it was, that experience was totally different because literally like almost at every station you saw somebody standing there to one, tell you what you were eating, even though there were little labels there, but also, you know, just to make sure that it wasn't messed over and everything was handled with care. And so, you know, cleanliness and everything, like, yeah, top notch.
And the customer service. So like she was saying, somebody was always there to help, you know, clear your plate, ask you if you needed something else. Very hospitable, made you feel very welcome. And yeah, it's just a comfortable environment. And I think that helped you to enjoy the meal because you didn't feel rushed. You didn't feel like somebody was standing over your shoulders. But that they wanted you to enjoy your meal. And it was like, what can I do to help you enjoy your meal? And so it was a pleasant experience and just very relaxing. I enjoyed it.
So yesterday I ate actually in the city, and I got something that I normally get. It's called like broccoli salad. And normally broccoli salad has a ton of mayo, and it has the broccoli, and then it has maybe one or two other vegetables, like usually carrots, and maybe like something like a cabbage also cut up in it. But this one here was a little different because it was more about the presentation. And I normally see that in the States about presentation, like the higher the level the restaurant is. This was not like a Michelin star restaurant we went to yesterday. So it was like they cared about the food, and it was, normally broccoli salad is cold. And I can tell it's been prepared earlier in the day. This was made very fresh that moment. Because the first thing I noticed when I bit into it, I was like, this is hot. Like, this is not cold. So it's not even, it hadn't been refrigerated. It wasn't like pre-made. It was made at that moment for consumption. So that's something. And then it was about, there was a lot of fresh elements added to it that I had never seen. And I was like, this is weird. But it actually turned out very good because it was very clean eating, unlike what I'm normally used to with my broccoli salad. So I think they have a different spin on how food is presented from the places that I've gone. I haven't gone everywhere, just a couple of places I've gone.
Okay, so in light of the fact that we're talking about food and how food is not only, you know, an intimate experience, it also creates community. It also invites people in, or it closes people out. So would you say that you felt a part of the community just through the food experiences alone up to this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so there's also, I'm just using this for lack of a better term, just to keep the conversation flowing, an open door policy. So I don't know the Polynesian name for it, but it's an open door policy, whereas if you're in the city and you see an open door, it means that you're welcome in. And so, Marquita, do you want to share about your experience when you went into the door? Well, first, like being from the States, what's in your mind if you see, you know, people live there? What would you have done or not done?
So going behind that gate, I'm first looking, am I supposed to be back here?
Correct.
That's the
Okay,
first
okay,
thing.
yeah, so go ahead and share your experience.
So once you told me it was fine to go back there, to leave the market, and it's kind of congested, dirty, you know, because it's a street, reminding you of Jewtown, to give you an example. And to go from there and go directly behind the gate, and it was so clean. I mean, the people had their clothes hanging to dry from when they washed it out on their porch. The shoes were out there, so it is just a respectful culture. And to know that they probably work in the front and they reside in the back. So they're economical as well. And they don't have to have a lot. So that's making me to rethink when I go home things. Do I need all of this stuff that I have in my house? I don't need all this. They live separate lives yet loving lives. And everything has a meaning. I'm walking around doing the market in just the city period, and I see these temples, and then you explained to me about they give offerings every day to recognize and to just say thank you for the blessings that you have bestowed upon me. That was something to see, and I saw it everywhere. So we went back there, I saw it on a couple of houses back in the back. But it was a whole different community. And it looked like a community, and everything just felt safe back there.
So as far as the culture welcoming you in, because you are an outsider in, for all intents and purposes, did you feel a sense of discomfort coming from your environment, that people were so welcoming? Like, was there any hesitation? Was there any suspicion?
No, I felt very comfortable.
Okay.
I mean, for me, coming from my environment to this environment, I would say it was weird initially until I saw that that's the norm here. I wouldn't say I was uncomfortable. It was just weird because our environment, first of all, the open door, we don't do that. You know what I mean? You are not letting strangers, come into your house or whatever it is. And it's really unfortunate, but the community and the culture is totally different from what we are used to. And so the guard that I have up when I'm at home, I didn't really feel like I had that while I was out and about here.
Yes, the openness of the culture, very welcoming. It is something that I'm not used to, but it is a welcoming experience. And to me, it just says a lot about the people in this area, and it's something that I look forward to. And just their generosity and hospitality, all of that. It says a lot about their culture, and it's a place that I would enjoy coming back to visit.
I think the operative word is hospitality.
I would agree. The people are very kind here. They're very sweet. They're just genuinely nice. And I don't think it's just being nice just to obtain consumer dollars. I just think that is their culture of just being just nice people. And it's like when you're around nice people, it's very hard to not be reflecting what you're getting.
So overall, it sounds like you ladies have had a wonderful time on your experience at the Melanin Matters Restoration Wellness Retreat. And on 3, we're going for 1, 2, 3.
Bali!
Good stuff, y'all. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, please interact with us by liking, commenting, and sharing with others who you feel may also benefit from it. Until next time, peace and many blessings.